Warning, this video contains slight doll nudity and is the uncensored version of Vladonna Jessica Rabbit. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a new doll to customize, and that is the new Vladonna doll created by RuPaul's Drag Race contestant Pearl, also known as Matthew Lent. Vladonna is the new DIY alternative fashion doll that will be whoever you want her to be. She can be purchased in kidrobot.com and retails for $39.99, and I think that is very reasonable for a doll. And now she's here in our hands and we can actually customize her. Here we have the blonde Vladonna. I love how exaggerated her features are, and it is meant to mirror an over-the-top drag queen silhouette. So many characters popped into my head, and one of them is Jessica Rabbit. They obviously share the same body shape, and I knew that I had to make her since you guys have requested for her too. I wish she actually came with different skin tones instead of just one light gray color. It just makes it easier for me to create human characters. I know that she is coming out with a full fashion line in the future, so I hope that option is possible. I hope she has a bunch of skin tones lined up for Vladonna. She is fully articulated and her torso piece is actually squishy, and I feel like you can even remove it if you don't want the bigger bust. Let's go start by removing her hair. Vladonna's head is very unique, so a needle nose pliers will be quite helpful when scraping the insides of her brains. After everything is cleaned up, I will start to add a mixture of pinks and beige and yellows to give her a human skin tone. I mixed the acrylic paint with Mod Podge to help it adhere to the doll, and I painted it layer by layer, thin layers. Overall, I think I painted a total of 7 or more thin layers until it was completely opaque. So I'm just gonna do that to her body and also her head. I refrained from touching it further after I painted it because I don't want the paints to crack. Obviously, because of Mod Podge, it is a little more flexible than usual. It's not as dry and crusty, but I just don't want to risk breaking the paint job that I did on her body because that would be very sad. After that, I popped her head back to her body and made sure to prime everything with Mr. Super Clear, and also make sure to wear a mask every time you spray. Using my watercolor pencils, I sketch out her features in Jessica Rabbit's likeness. She really does have an exaggerated sleepy eye look, but her high brows balances out the look. Because we are technically drawing on paint and not necessarily the doll's actual surface, try to be more careful than usual because paint can still be scraped off and you don't want that either. The watercolor pencils also show up very grainy, and I'm not really into that look as much, so I will cover the lines I need to be very clean and sharp with paint later on. Since the Vladonna face is flat, creating different eye shapes and looks is quite easy. I wanted to play around with gradients to create the illusion of dimensions with her eyes and also her lips. Jessica Rabbit's eyes are very green, which is very hard to see because her eyes are literally 90% almost closed. So I had to rewatch the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit because she has some scenes where she actually opens her eyes and stuff. And I actually googled it to make sure that her eyes are green. So I tried so hard not to fully close her eyelids because I wanted her green eyes to still pop. Because green, purple, and red usually is such a good color combination, and it just creates kind of like a good harmony with the color story. If you guys have not seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it is actually such an amazing movie, but seeing the cartoons from competing companies like Disney and Warner Brothers, Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny in one movie, side by side, it's kind of like those things where we always dream to have a collaboration of DC Universe and Marvel Universe, but it's kind of like, you know it's not gonna happen anymore, where two competing companies work together to create one amazing film, and seeing their cartoons together is very nice, so definitely check it out. I literally only watched it because of Jessica Rabbit, honestly. Like, I knew that she was a character there, I knew she was a big deal, I didn't know why she was a big deal, so I was like, let me watch this, and I was like, my god, literally every cartoon is here. I added light on the center of her lips to make it look bigger and poutier, as if it wasn't big enough. I'm also blushing her cleavage, her décolletage, her shoulders, and her collarbones, just so that it matches her face more. And then I give her lips some gloss. I don't know how she manages since her hair covers half of her face, and I'm sure getting the hair stuck on the lips is very annoying. And lastly, I give her lashes, which will cast a shadow to make her look more sleepy. And now we're finally done with Jessica Rabbit's face, and so we can move on to her clothes. I start with her iconic purple gloves. The colors actually varies from time to time, but I will be using a dark purple stretchy fabric. I remove her hands by twisting it while pulling gently, and I sewed the fabric with the good sides facing in. People who've watched my channel will be like, oh my god, Christian is sewing again, oh no, what is this gonna look like? Me. After that, I turned it inside out and put her hands back in. I paint the gloves as close as the fabric to try and match it. And that's it for the gloves! She wears an iconic red dress. It's in satin for the most part, but it's also very sparkly when she's performing. I have this really sparkly red fabric that I can use for her dress, and I wanted to have a small train. Vladonna's body is very tricky, as you can see, but I sewed this outfit onto her so it's not going anywhere. And it's actually a two-piece. It's a top and also a skirt, and it actually blends really well. I wanted to keep her iconic high slit, and I secured some of it onto her legs with hot glue. For her shoes, Pearl said that she fits Monster High shoes, which is very true for the boots, but not for the heels. It was too big. Hasbro Disney shoes are also very big. Some Barbie shoes are actually perfect, and some barely fits. The one I'm using is a Silkstone style shoe, and it kind of fits. I was actually going to make her pumps with epoxy clay, but decided to use this instead because it looks really good. I'm just repainting it to give it a pink shimmer and glue it onto her feet. Technically, I could have chopped off Vladonna's heel, kind of like Cinderella's stepsisters, to fit the shoe, but I decided not to do that, so it's just hot glued onto her feet, which actually stays really well too, so that's an option, and it looks really great. She looks like a Silkstone just by looking at her feet, so yeah. Last minute with her knee blushing, I was looking at her and her knees was like literally so white, and I was like, I need to put some blushing there. The final step is her crowning glory. She will be getting yarn hair today, and I'm just mixing this red and orange together. So like always, I prepare the acrylic yarn by brushing it out using 2 types of pet brushes. It's not necessary, but I find that detangling it first retains the length of the weft. I then switch to the metal brush to fine-tune the weft and make it more fluffy! Next, I take my hair straightener and run through the hair multiple times. It's crazy how different the weft looks and feels after you straighten it. I then take my hot glue and I glue it straight to her head. I started with her bangs and move it to the nape of her neck. You really do have to pre-plan where you want things to go, because if not, it's gonna look a little messy. So I just try to make sure everything is concealed and clean. Then we have to make sure to give her the gold earrings to frame her face. So another last minute change, I'm actually going to replace Vladonna's hands with Barbie Made to Move hands. If you recognize these hands, go ahead and let me know in the comments below if you know. But I think it looks better as a Jessica Rabbit character because she did have very small feet and hands in the movie, and I want to be as accurate as possible, so I'm just painting it again like the first one. I feel like it fits the Jessica Rabbit aesthetic a lot more to have the smaller, daintier hands. Then I take my metal chopsticks. A lot of people ask me what this is. This is a metal chopsticks that I heat up using my hair straightener. You can get this from Asian markets. You usually make sure it is metal. But I'm curling the ends of her hair to go inside because her hair was actually inspired by Lauren Bacall's hairstyles in the vintage Hollywood days. So it's just very glamorous. It has a lot of soft waves in there. Jessica Rabbit obviously was a lot more of a simple wave. I think she has like one wave in there. But creating this hairstyle was very fun for me. It was actually kind of like styling my own wigs because I really love vintage hairstyles, and this was kind of like the same technique that I use for my wigs. I thoroughly enjoyed the process of her hair, which I actually thought I would have nightmares with, but surprisingly it was very fun and easy for me. And now we're done. Betty, is that you?
Oh, hey, Jack Frost. Long time no see.
What are you doing here?
Work's been kind of slow since cartoons went together, but I still got it, Jackie. Boop, boop, be-doop, boop.
Yeah, you always do. Wow, I've never seen this place so packed.
Yeah, it's always a full house every time Jessica performs.
Well, I guess it's rabbit season. You have a plenty money, 1922. You let other women make a fool of you. Why don't you do it right, like some other men do? Get out of here, get me some money too. Why don't you do it right, like some other man do? Whoa.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you. To end this night, I would like to invite to the stage the one who started it all, Betty Boop.
What? Me?
Betty, go up there. Show them what you've got.